Chapter 8 in our textbook is the paradoxical era from 1968 to 1980, and I am focusing my video on the oppression of vulnerable people in the 70s. Change tactics. Groups representing women, people of color, gays, and lesbians had to change tactics. The first wave of activists burned out, or they were intimidated by the FBI. So a second wave of activists had started in the 70s. Every group of vulnerable persons were faced with complicated problems legally and with legislation. Women were faced with job discrimination, state laws on rape, funding for battered women's shelters, resources for childcare, maternity leave, equal pay, child support and divorce, equal rights amendment, sexual harassment in the workplace, and the promotions and hirings of women in the face of discrimination. And specialty groups were created to deal with these problems that women faced. Rights during the 1970s, protections were extended to immigrants in detention camps, gay men and lesbians, people with disabilities, people with developmental disabilities, and people in jail and prisoners on death row. And attorneys who had received education for the civil rights movement in the 60s were dealing with all kinds of people who, these people, the immigrants, and they were helping them get protections for being vulnerable people. So that's the oppression of vulnerable people in the 1970s.